Hello, this is Isabel Fox from Fox Girls, and today we're going to be talking about how to upgrade a booking from GFE to PSE, even if you have no idea where to start. It is often easier financially for you to upgrade bookings and keep regular clients than it is to go searching for new bookings time and time again. So today we're going to be talking about a few different methods that I use to do this. Now, the style of what we're going to talk about is directed towards escorts or sex workers who are getting clients via text. However, you can pretty much use everything that we talk about in person and say it verbally instead of texting it. For instance, you might do this if you're working at a brothel and you're upgrading your service from standard to deluxe. You could even do this with your escorting clients in person. If the moment presents itself or they ask you some of the questions that we're going to go through, you can say this to them in person too. So it's really the psychology behind it is for me to show you how you can convince a client or coerce them into realizing that your PSE option or your most expensive option is the best option for them. So let's get started. I've started by using common phrases that clients say, especially via text when they're going through a usual booking procedure. So that would be with an escort who usually has a GFE and a PSE service. This stands for girlfriend experience and porn star experience. So a common question that a client will say is, what's the difference between GFE and PSE? When he says this, you say, GFE is very sensual and passionate, while PSE is very passionate, sensual, and adventurous. I find that my PSE is a very natural feeling experience as we can roam and explore with no limits. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't like to be held back, then this is for you. It includes all my services, and I've attached a detailed services list for you below. You also must attach selfies. I recommend at least 2, sometimes 3. Now, why does this work? I've highlighted the words here that are the key kind of trigger words that we're trying to seduce our clients with. So firstly, natural. What this alludes to is a natural sort of experience for a client where it doesn't feel like it's paid for or forced. That's often one of the biggest concerns that clients have when they're booking a girl, is that it's going to feel clinical or like work or forced. They want to feel like they basically aren't paying you, like you're a girl that they've just picked up or that they know, or you are their girlfriend, someone that they would have a naturally evolving sort of sexual experience with. So that's why we use the word natural feeling, is we want them to associate the more expensive option with the more natural feeling option as if it would happen in their real life. Explore with no limits. No client wants to feel like he has limits. No man wants to feel like he's going to have to stop in the middle of what he's doing to make sure that he doesn't cross a boundary with you because that isn't included, for instance, in your GFE. This often refers to things like come in mouth or come on face. Now, this will obviously be tailored to whatever PSE services that you use, but the concept is the same. In the PSE, you're pretty much providing all of your services, so he gets to explore with no limits, i.e. the limits that apply to you. So don't get too hung up on this super literally. It's really the concept that we're trying to paint in the client's mind to get them to associate a better experience with the more expensive option. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't like to be held back, no guy wants to be associated with being someone who likes to be held back. Timid and feminine, not masculine. This is really appealing to that kind of masculine part of a man's mentality that doesn't want to feel like he's that guy who's shy or nervous with you. So that's why I use the wording in this way. If you're the kind of guy, we want him to get himself to associate with being, no, I'm not the kind of guy who likes to be held back. I'm the kind of guy who likes to give my all. So that's why we use that terminology. Next, I highlight that it's all my services and I attach that services list. So you should have that preloaded in your phone. You can also have a link to whatever profile you're using where it's listed. If you're advertising in Melbourne, you often can't list there, although on Private Girls and Scarlet Blue, there are alternative touring options that the client can access. But for sake of ease, and it's all about convenience and quick turnaround times with clients, I just attach it for them so that they can see specifically everything that they're going to get when they pick PSE over GFE. And like I said, I always attach my selfies. Men are visual creatures. Give them a look at what they're going to be able to play with. And more importantly, let them see what they can play with no boundaries, rather than certain areas that they might have to hold back, because that's no fun. He says, I would like to make a GFE booking. You say, great choice. GFE is very sensual and passionate. Mark, what I have found though is that most of my clients really love my PSE option because it is a very natural feeling experience. We can roam and explore with no limits. If you're the kind of guy who doesn't like to be held back or worry about boundaries, then this is for you, as it includes all my services. I've attached a detailed services list for you below to take a look at too. Attach magical selfies. Okay, so similar to our last one. Firstly, I've led by using my client's name just to personalize it a bit. If I was saying this in person, this would be even more important. Most girls refer to their clients as babe or darling or honey. Clients know that this is really just you not remembering their name. It is more personable if you use their name. If you say a name and you get it wrong, you can recover from this easily. You just chuckle and you say, oh, you sound better like a Justin anyway. I'm going to call you Justin. And then you can have that as your little secret joke between you guys. But really, know your client's name. If he's paying you a lot of money, that will do you a service, and start by leading with that. He'll automatically like you more. What I found though is that most of my clients really love. Some people might think that referring to other clients isn't a good idea. It actually is a good idea. Even though we want them to feel like they're the one and only, at this point where we're trying to upgrade them, we want to provide proof to them that other people before them have done this and thought that it was a good idea. Just like when you go into a store and you might be wanting to buy a pair of headphones, you'll say, which are the most popular option? And the salesperson will show you a particular set of headphones, and you've kind of got that herd belief now that, oh, well, if lots of other people liked it, then I will like it too. It is the same here. Most of my clients really love. We're providing him with social proof that other people have chosen this option and they have been very happy and they've loved it. And then we go on to explain why. Natural feeling experience, because it feels more natural and less paid for, forced, clinical. Explore with no limits. Nobody wants to explore with limits. That's boring. That's not fun. That is not a natural feeling experience. Remind them that the PSE option has no limits. If you're the kind of guy who then doesn't like to be held back or worry about boundaries. Of course he doesn't want to have to worry about boundaries. He's not the kind of guy who wants to worry or be held back or think about boundaries. So remind him of that and get him to associate himself with being somebody who does not like to worry about boundaries and therefore would like the PSE option. Includes all my services. We want to remind him that PSE has everything while GFE does not have everything. We then attach a detailed services list, and again, the selfies are paramount. I will have a separate lesson about what selfies are best to use, but for now, just know that you need to have 2 or 3 selfies. Lastly, he says, do you like your GFE or PSE service more? You say, thank you, I'm so glad you asked. Honestly, I love both. However, I really feel like I get to be myself most naturally with my PSE, as it allows me to roam and explore with you with no limits and without feeling like I have to hold back. If you are the kind of guy who likes to play without having to worry about boundaries, then this is for you. Firstly, I actually love it when a client asks me this. It is a really easy way to upsell the PSE, and also really considerate to think that they would want to know what you like more. So we can use that to our advantage. I always like to be courteous and polite and lovely when I'm speaking with my clients. It will really set you apart. That's why I've started with, thank you, I am so glad you asked. I really feel I get to be myself most naturally. This is a really powerful sentence. We want the client to empathize with how you feel, which they've already stated that they care about, otherwise they wouldn't have asked this question. And we want him to know that we will feel ourselves most naturally with this option. We will get to be with him wholly, just like ourselves, without holding back, without being forced, without putting on a persona. That's really what this sentence says. You will get my natural self, which is what most clients are looking for, is they want a natural feeling experience. They don't want to feel like they've paid for a sex worker or an escort to do their job. They want it to be mutually satisfying, which is why they ask this question. This question is actually more common than most people think it is. I get it almost daily. It allows me to roam and explore with you with no limits, without feeling like I have to hold back. We are reminding him that in the PSE, there are no limits. We won't be holding back. We'll be giving him our all, and we won't have to feel like we're worried about holding back. This is a really powerful line. If you are the kind of guy who likes to play without having to worry about boundaries, like I explained before, we are now getting him to associate himself with being somebody who doesn't like to worry about boundaries, which we've also stated that we're like, so now him and I are the same. This is a really powerful and great way to upsell from a GFE to PSE. If a client asks you this question, you can almost guarantee that if you respond this way, they will decide to choose the PSE option. So thank you very much for watching. Give these things a go. Give me some feedback on how your experiences are, and I can't wait to speak with you soon. If you want to contact me at any time, just hit me up on isabel@foxgirls.com.au.